Mr. Prashant, thank you for taking our questions and answering them. You had mentioned earlier in November 2019 that works for commencing operations at Shuakevi HPP were expected to be finished in late December and early January. Could you please tell us what is the current status of the project, which was the plant was supposed to start generating power by end January 2020, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, first of all, again, thank you very much for the opportunity for us to provide information about our project. Yes, as I mentioned in November 2019, the works for commencing operations for Shuakevi HPP were completed end of December, and during January we started filling up the tunnels and the reservoir, and in early February we started commissioning activities and were completed within the same month. The plant received operational readiness certification in March, and since then almost every day we are generating power without any problems. The plant has so far generated more than 200 million units. I'm happy to say we are contributing significantly to Georgia's power requirement.
Wonderful. What was the process followed as part of recommencement of operations, and did you encounter any issues?
No, we did not encounter any issues while recommissioning the plant. Even in 2017, the commissioning had gone on smoothly. We had very good diligent protocols in place for carrying out the commissioning, as well as during the period when the plant was not functioning, we had a very robust plant preservation protocols. So as to ensure that when the works were finished, the plant, all the equipments were ready for operations. We submitted as part of the process that is required under the Georgian legislation. We submitted all test reports, all documentation that were required by the supervision agency to help them issue the act of exploitation, as also all once we started commissioning, all the test reports for all major equipment were submitted to GSC, and the continuous run test records, so that the dispatcher could provide us operational readiness certificate and we could start dispatching power into the grid.
You mentioned the year 2017, and since the HPP operations were suspended in 2017 due to incidents of the blockages in certain sections of the tunnels, what is the current status now? Are you comfortable in terms of trouble-free operations?
Yeah, no, I completely understand the concerns because of the history of what happened in 2017. I can assure everyone that the remedial works for the tunnels and the strengthening work that was done will stand the test of time, ensuring absolutely trouble-free operations for a long time in the future. We had, as part of the process, we had gathered experts from United Kingdom, Germany, Austria, Brazil, who continuously reviewed the works that were carried out, including the design adequacy and appropriateness. And as such, even before we took up the final filling up works, we had a special walkthrough inspection conducted by these experts, so just to give the comfort to our board of directors as well. As such, we are quite confident that we will not face any problems in the future. We adopted a very conservative approach while strengthening the tunnels, although it meant spending additional amounts of money. It would be good to mention that, as I mentioned earlier, right from the time when we started commissioning in February, every day the plant has generated power without any problem, and more than 200 million units have been generated so far, which represents almost 50% of our annual generation capacity. Since this is the high inflow season, almost for 3 months we have been continuously generating every day.
Yeah, I have to hear that. Recently, there has been some news in media about leakages in the Adjaristsqali dam, speculating about safety concerns regarding the dam itself. What is your take on these reports?
To be frank, I am really very amused to read these reports because there is nothing at all to be concerned at all about these things. Any professional who has worked in construction of large dams or hydropower projects knows that such leakages are expected over a period of time. Large concrete dams, when they are being constructed, the concrete pouring happens in sequence, and because of this, there are always construction joints through the minor gaps in construction joints through which these leakages appear, and this is completely expected as part of the overall work completion itself. After the concreting is done and the reservoirs are filled up, post-completion grouting works are always scheduled, and this was planned in our case as well. In fact, when I presume these reports were surfaced sometime in March or April, but our grouting works at various other concrete structural locations are already in progress. And the work for attending the grouting works at Bidachara Dam was scheduled in May. And it so happened that whoever reported this took these pictures in April and created a lot of unnecessary panic in the media and other community. Now we have already completed those grouting works, and if anybody has concerns, they can visit the dam site and have a look at it. It's completely normal now. I'm disappointed actually to say that such reporting actually creates unnecessary panic in the media and is totally uncalled for. That's the most I can say. But
let us agree that media should report. It's just that they should ask you what is the problem and ask for some explanations. But media should report, because that's our job.
Yes, I agree completely.
Thank you.
And Georgia being one of the features of Georgia is it's a free press, and we appreciate that as well. And to that extent, we had provided a very clear technical explanation of these things. Now, despite that, if these are being again and again repeatedly, we don't understand. We have nothing more to say except the dam. It will stand the test of time, and probably over a period of time, people will get the comfort that they are looking for. I cannot say anything more further than that.
Sure. I understand. Now, considering the context that we are all living in, and that is the pandemic and then the crisis that no one thought that it would be in Georgia or elsewhere in the world. Now, how did your HPP face any operational issues? What special steps did you take for ensuring safety of your operational staff, also those who support this staff? Was your company also involved in supporting the local government's efforts and the community around your operational facilities? What was the involvement of your HPP in these processes?
I think it's we all appreciate that we are living currently in very difficult times, not only in Georgia but across the world. And from that perspective, we also had to take a number of steps. And the government of Georgia had issued a number of directives and through that time regular advisory directives, and we were following that. First of all, we restricted the working in the plant and instructed all support staff to work from home. And while the time they were working at home, we were continuously checking about their health, inquiring about their family's health, just to make sure that none of the family members or our employees were getting infected. Regarding the critical plant staff, we divided them into two separate teams, isolated them so that they did not come in contact with each other except when the change of shift was occurring. We restricted the number of people that were working in the plant. The third step that we took was immediately when the pandemic crisis started becoming severe, we undertook sanitization of all our plant locations, office locations, company vehicles. We established a regular health checkup procedure, not only for our employees but our contract workforce, in terms of scanning the temperatures, ensuring that they had all the necessary PPE, that is gloves, sanitizer, mask. We also offered our support to the local government, expressed that in what way we could, as a responsible corporate organization, and in coordination with the local government, we provided 2 ventilators equipment to the Republic Hospital in Batumi. Apart from that, we were working with the local mayors, local municipality offices, and we distributed this safety apparel, including masks, sanitizer, hand gloves, to the frontline medical staff that were actually going into different remote villages in that particular municipality. One another step that we took, again in coordination with the local government, they had expressed that if we could support in terms of providing some support, assistance to disadvantaged families, and we provided about 100 to 140 families. We provided food packets which would help them sustain during these difficult times. I think overall it was a very good coordinated effort from the government side and our side, and it was also appreciated by the community. And we have a long reputation of good corporate initiatives, sustainable initiatives, helping the society throughout the construction phase, and we intend to do similar things in the operations phase as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the support as well. Wish you all the best. Bye.
Thank you very much. Once again, appreciate your us giving the opportunity to present our case.
I appreciate your answers. Bye.